Hey everybody!
Hey everybody!
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Moira.
I don't know where
did that come from?
Welcome to Go Read a Book.
Welcome!
This week we read, well, for the past like 4 weeks we read
we did.
Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple. It's got this adorable little cover.
The cover was the best part of the book.
Oh no! I love it so much!
No, you didn't!
I
Did you
loved
really?
it!
What was there to love about it? This is my problem
Everything.
because like everyone on Goodreads it's like 4 stars or something.
Yeah.
Like, so I read the book in large print. So the print is like this big and they don't really break things up. So when it goes from like B speaking to someone else, I didn't feel like there was a real strong like difference. I'm like, wait, who's talking now?
I think that's
terrible.
the point. That's why I love it. It's so funny. It's like, look at these ridiculous people.
She did have that good arc though.
Which one?
The one who was like the worst person in the world and then was like,
yes.
I'm gonna help save everything and then whatever.
The neighbor?
Yes. So
Yeah.
she had a good story, I guess. Ugh.
But I think that the book is intended to be satire. So like when they are insufferable and over the top and everything
Yeah.
else, I think it's completely intentional. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think my feet are just firmly planted in realism. Like this is like
I
with the
think
giver
so.
too, and I was like, this can't be right.
You're like, Eleanor and Park were bust.
yeah.
And even now you're like, that's not how it would end.
I'm just the worst person ever.
But I mean, did you enjoy the humor or did you
Was
even
it
find
humor?
funny?
Was it funny? None of the I didn't like any of the like I wasn't rooting for anybody. The mom just up and left.
I
so-
loved her.
But the woman that I just hated at the most was the woman who cheated on the husband. Like the husband cheated on his wife. She was gone
that
for like
woman?
a week.
Yeah.
And cheated on her. And then she's having a baby. Like I feel like that was really fast. I'm also like vehemently against cheating. Like,
Oh, well,
like,
definitely.
you know?
Oh, yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, why did he have to do that?
I don't have an answer for that except for I think that it's still, everything's intended to be a caricature. So it's like when they live in this world of excess and money, like that, I feel like that's a logical next step. It's like watching a melodrama, like a soap opera.
I guess I've never really liked soap operas. But
Oh,
you
well,
love,
I
I was like,
do.
you love soap operas.
Definitely.
What did you love about it?
I thought the daughter, like, is relatable. Like, I just think she had these funny thoughts all the time. 3 wise men entered on a camel, elephant, and ostrich. Even I was like, okay, that's cool. I didn't know ostriches would let you ride them. Like, that's so funny to me.
Yeah?
Yeah. She's like, okay, that's cool. Because she's sitting there being cynical. And
Yeah.
then she takes a step out of it. She's like, okay. Like, that's cool.
Interesting.
The highway into the city center ran along a river which had trash scattered on its bank. Soda cans, water bottles, tons of plastic, and food scraps just dumped. It was totally annoying. Like, would one of you just pick up the trash? That cracks. Like, I feel like I had those thoughts all day long.
I felt like they tried to make her so smart where she was gonna be accepted into this amazing school
Yeah.
and not only be accepted but to skip a grade. But then when she was writing, she didn't sound smart at all to me.
The daughter?
Yeah.
Well, she's 15.
That's what I would sound like, but I wasn't accepted into like a really nice school and I didn't skip a grade. So I'm like, oh, I get it. I get what they were trying to do there, but it didn't make sense that she would be writing like that.
To me, it felt like a diary. I don't know. Like, I had
Yeah.
like, really dumb thoughts at that age.
Yeah.
And I took a few AP classes.
No, I mean, I did too, but I would have sounded worse than that. I'm sure they wouldn't have even made sense.
A complaint I actually do have is that I think a lot of the characters sounded the same. Even Bernadette, who is so different from her neighbor,
Yeah.
they're not that different. You
Yeah.
know, and like they talk the same, and I mean, obviously it's one writer for a million characters,
Yeah.
but
I guess I just didn't understand like what it was until like, oh, she gathered this and made this into a book. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, why would she have all these faxes? And why
Right.
like but
who
then,
writes faxes?
But then also this makes me, I know, like here, I'm faxing you this. I don't know where you are, but I'm faxing you something. I'm like, oh, who does that? Like
No
that
one.
totally dates that book. And I usually love books that have like mixed media kind of things. Where like, oh, this was a letter. Oh, this was this. But to me, it just seemed like too jumbled. Going back to B, I liked her until the end. And she was she went on the cruise and then she was just such a brat.
But I think
It's-
she was such a teenager.
But I guess her dad did literally move in with this one. Like that part of the story didn't make any sense to me. Like they had been married for years upon years upon years.
Yeah.
And then he's just like sleeps with this woman
Yeah.
and then has a baby. And then when he talks to her about it at the end, he's like, well, got her pregnant. Ew.
And then the mom's like, I'll probably just work it out with your dad.
Yeah. So like it just ended. And you're
Yeah.
like, so did she have the baby? Like, did he buy her a house? Like, then that woman had this whole like grand love story about how LG was gonna move in with her, and I was
Yeah.
just like, pump those brakes! Like, You have known him for like 3 weeks.
I like that some questions were not answered. She couldn't answer them because she's writing the book based on the literal data she had gathered.
Yes,
so she
yes.
couldn't say like why the relationship happened outside of what she read. I don't know, I liked it.
Did you?
I did.
I just didn't. But for some reason, I kept reading it because we had to review it.
Bernadette's shenanigans, and she's just always getting into trouble. But the interesting part is that like later in the book, her arch nemesis admits to the fact that like everything that she put Bernadette through was a lie. Like she made her take out the blackberry bushes. She never ran over her foot in the parking lot, you know? And I found Bernadette to be sympathetic because I think she's like a crazy person who snapped. So I appreciated that. I don't know, I think that people do reach a snapping point, and it was interesting watching somebody who was always a little crazy snap even further.
There's like no characters that I liked. Even the dad.
Gilligan didn't either.
I concur. The type of characters aren't my style.
Yeah.
Like I think, you know, they were over the top and dramatic, and I usually don't like books like that unless it's like Willy Wonka, when you're like, okay, this is like a pretend
like
fantasy, and like this wasn't to me supposed to be like a fantasy book, you know? Like to me, I went in being like, what happened to this mom? I thought it was gonna start off like maybe a few chapters, and then the mom would disappear.
I did too.
And then it was like the entire book, I'm like just waiting for her to go.
Forever.
To go,
And also, one thing I'll comment on about that is I think it's interesting that the book is called Where'd You Go, Bernadette, when it's mostly written from the daughter's perspective.
Maybe also now thinking about it is like, where'd you go? Even as like, where did you go after she moved to Seattle and she fell off the face of the earth? Like,
totally.
Maybe it was her journey of like just going crazy, 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 crazy.
Right. Final thoughts? You done jingling?
That's the least
Since
American
it
sound
We got a dishwasher going, a barking dog, and my jaw clicking in my head. Final thoughts, I loved this book. I think it was intended to be over the top and satirical and not firmly grounded in reality, and it was very like Shakespearean in that way when you think about like As You Like It or those kind of like ridiculous characters. I don't know, I loved it. I like ate this book up. What did you think?
The opposite. Maybe if over the top, I don't know. I love over the top characters, but when there's like one, but when there's a whole book of over the top, like, and everyone's like this and I'm doing this, and
I say pick up a copy. Moira says don't. Whatever you do, pick up the next book that we're reading, which is
Girl on a Train or Girl on the Train?
The Girl on the Train.
The Girl on the Train.
There you go.
Girl on the Train.
Check out our last video, which was our first ever collab over on Too Drunk Topangas. And
it was real drunk, and there was a lot of Topangas.
Thanks for watching. See you real soon. Bye.